Right. Hello, YouTube. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever the case may be, wherever you're at. Matthew Barrett here with your breaking revelations coverage. With some breaking news, earthquakes, fireballs, and UFOs aplenty.
Great day. Breaking news coming out of Mexico.
First,
north and
I'm bringing you Mr. MBB333.
east of Acapulco. 5 miles outside of town, there's been a large 7.0 magnitude earthquake in the last 30 minutes.
And this is 10 hours old when I post, so 10 hours, 30 minutes.
The people that live here in this area felt that earthquake. That
September
is right
8th,
on top of the city. Again, just north and east of Acapulco, probably 5 miles outside of town. We'll measure over here at Google Earth, approximately 3, maybe 4.5, 5 miles outside of town. That was a large, shallow quake coming in at 12.6. That would be around 6 miles deep, 12.6 kilometers. And this was initially a 7.4 magnitude quake that's been downgraded to a 7.0, coming over here to the seismographs at the USGS. And if you look on the far right-hand side of these graphs, you're starting to see a tall black signature. That's the 7.0 quake that just occurred, and it's reaching tall on these graphs, and that's usually a good indication of a very strong earthquake. This is one over in Jamaica. This is one in Honduras. We're going to look at some up here in the United States. Look at New Mexico. The seismograph felt that energy almost instantaneously. New Mexico, Missouri. Looking at some other seismographs, there's Texas. Obviously, the Yucatan in Mexico felt a very strong signature. That would be the primary wave, moving away from the epicenter of the large quake that occurred right there just north and east of Acapulco. Looking at the Yellowstone seismographs, you can see one seismograph picked up the earthquake energy right there, and for some reason, the rest of these seismographs did not. In fact, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seismographs, for reasons unknown, are offline right now, and the rest of these seismic.
Combine that with the information that the USGS has been under-reporting earthquakes. The solar observatories have been shut down across the world.
Graphs. In fact, let's refresh the page. Okay, over here at Pelican Cone, it picked up the large earthquake. Purple Mountain picked up the earthquake. Holmes Hill picked up the earthquake. Some seismographs, again, are offline. Right now, those are the only seismographs showing the energy from the very large 7.0 quake that just occurred right outside of Acapulco. I did go over here to Webcams New Mexico. This is a webcam in Acapulco. I haven't been able to find any activity yet, but I just got started looking. I did come over to the National Data Buoy Center. I looked for buoys along the coast of Mexico. There are no active buoys right now. In fact, there's none along the coast that are even working. See all the red icons? It means those buoys are inactive. Yellow means active. Flashing yellow, like the one we see over here in the far.
And the red should be a big red flashing light. We are being lied to.
Western Pacific, there's something going on at that buoy. I noticed it about a day and a half ago. There's some sort of an unusual event being detected over here in the water column height at this particular buoy station, 21413. Don't know what's going on, but it's kind of coincidental that you've got this thing over here showing very bizarre readings. Then a few hours later over here along the coast of Mexico, there's a very large earthquake that once again occurred just outside of Acapulco, less than 5 miles from a very densely populated area. Thanks for watching.
There we go. Now I'm going to bring you over here to the other television. Now, my apologies here. I'm going to have to switch the camera to... I guess not. I guess I can't switch the camera. So, I will bring the tripod over. Anyway. Some of these shots, you really need to be where you can see them. So let's see what we can do to get an angle on the TV here. All right, work with me, not against me, camera. I can't zoom it out, so I'm gonna manually back up the tripod. try this position. See if this is any better. Not entirely. And a strange angle on the television. Sorry, I did not expect this level of difficulty. Ladies and gentlemen of the general public, bear with me, if you will. Okay. It's going to be a bit angled at this angle. So, bring it over here and reposition. Still kind of angled, but leave it around a little better. That may be even better. At least you can see the whole television. I will reach across here, and this is Mary Greely of Mary Greely News. Her copyright disclaimer.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful day today. Last night,
I hope you can see
in
it.
California, Oregon, and Washington, there was a report of another fireball that was seen about 11:33 p.m. from the southeast to the northwest. Evidently, a woman in Central Point, Oregon, wrote that this was blindingly bright, and she noticed it over her shoulder. Super bright light made her look up. She said the size was about the size of a full moon when seen high in the sky.
And each of those is a reported sighting. Each of those is a reported sighting.
But defined as red, blue, and green lights. Another woman from Humboldt County said that she saw it too at about 11:30 p.m. Said she could see a tail. It was about the same size as her pinky finger. And it was rainbow colored, blue, yellow, red, and green. Another report said it was...
And they keep describing pretty much the same basic fireball, light beam, whatever UFO that I've been seeing in my backyard.
Pink, light blue, light green, yellow, light yellow, red, and white. No sound. That report came from Portland, Oregon. Another report
bigger than what I've been seeing.
Sorry for pronouncing it wrong. Said the color was green, light green, orange, and yellow. And when it first appeared, it seemed to flash. Down by Santa Rosa, Sacramento, Yountville, California.
We've seen some flashing.
Blue and green. According to AMS, most fireballs or meteors, comets, they're often...
This is obviously something different.
Another one from Tacoma, Washington. Light yellow to white. Ryan from Albany, Oregon, says I've seen a lot of shooting stars, and this one was definitely in the atmosphere. With a vibrant blue and green and yellow colors, it was amazing. Another one from Oregon. If we weren't traveling 65 miles an hour on I-5, we would have stopped. By far the largest, most defiant and colorful meteor I've ever seen. My husband and I both observed it at the same time. Another report from Portland, Oregon, bigger than anything I've ever seen. I would say pinky nail size. The color was orange and yellow. Quite a few people there in Portland, Oregon saw it. This is another one. It says I'm sitting in my apartment with a few dim lights on while staring at my phone and sort of watching TV. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something fast and bright in the sky. I looked up and saw a bright green light for a split second. It with an arching tail. It was so brief, I'm questioning if I even saw it at all. But I can't stop thinking about it. I never get distracted by anything in the sky from inside my apartment, aside from a passing plane and the moon. Very strange. Timing is also somewhat appropriate. Another one from Oregon. It flew right over our neighbor's roof and seemed to just burn up shortly after I saw it. It was bright green, but my son thought it was orange or red. So there's one in Seattle, and most of them, like I said, were in the Portland area, and they figured this is the direction that it moved. Yep, seems to be more and more of them. If we just look to the sky, we are having a meteor shower right now. Yeah, first that large one in France, and now this one. Yeah, makes you wonder what else is coming. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Okay, and now this is Secure Team 10. I'm going to bring you some footage about some sightings. Well, he's going to bring you, and I'm going to relay that or repeat that along with this other information and some personal commentary. Maybe nothing new under the sun, but that doesn't mean it can't be new to you.
Here with Secure Team. This is my second video in a row. So if you didn't see
He goes on at length a little bit about that, about his video.
Anyway, you guys can check that video out. I'll put the link at the end of this video and down in the video description. But like I said,
talk about a monolith.
Where have I seen this before?
Launched.
NASA or another space agency, public or private, has created a mission and named it after something very obvious to the UFO community.
Yeah, like a monolith. Like naming it monolith. Okay, here he's talking about the Black Knight. This is a sighting of the Black Knight. This is worth knowing.
Mere hundreds or thousands of years. And there is literature and evidence out there on the internet that way back, and I think it was the 1930s or 40s, a couple of astronomers picked this thing up out in space, orbiting the Earth, and they quickly noticed this was not a normal satellite. This thing would change direction and movement at will. And this was before we had ever launched a satellite even. So we had no technology up there that we could just move around or change direction. And this thing started changing direction so much that they eventually lost track of it. And we don't know if they still have track of it or if they ever got track of it back. But that is the tale of the Black Knight satellite. And then later on, during one of the shuttle missions, some very infamous images came out, which you see here, which many people believe.
My apologies about the ads. Nothing is free, you know. We'll tough through this if we can.
Imagine the possibilities.
5 seconds of I really don't need you to tell me stuff.
People believe may depict the alien Black Knight satellite. Although later on NASA attempted to scramble off
There's
and
a picture
color
of
it a space blanket that was just floating. Well, it doesn't look like a space blanket to me. It looks very alien in nature, and there are multiple photos of this thing hovering above planet Earth. And so, yeah, that is the legend of the Black Knight satellite. There's an alien probe, much like these alien monoliths found on other planets. And so I did a little digging, and I found out that, yes, I was indeed correct, that there had been another mission by a space company, where in which, again, they were launching a classified satellite up into space, and guess what they used as their mission patch image? Well, you're seeing it right here.
How much you want to bet they're using that to watch the Black Knight? All right, we skip ahead a little bit here.
Of our sun, and he has captured not only.
Okay, then we got to give
Use
credit.
some really cool UFO material. How about that? And the first discovery comes from Scott C. Waring over at UFO Sightings Daily, where he has once again captured not only a UFO near the sun via the SOHO satellite, which is a satellite that we have aimed at the sun,
So this is a NASA satellite.
365, taking video and imagery of our sun. And he has captured not only a UFO, but this appears to be a black triangular shaped UFO, a TR-3B, if you will, which just happens to be the subject of the documentary I'm working on with Darcy Weir, which I also speak about in the previous video. And so you're seeing the first image here, taken from the official NASA website. And Scott Waring said when he posted this quote, "I first reported this black triangle UFO about 2 years ago. It's still there today, but moves from one place to another. Its location about 5 years ago was in the upper left corner of the sun. Then suddenly it disappeared and reappeared.
That's the size of the Earth in comparison.
About 2 years ago, and since then I've been watching it.
and seeing it in various places, popping up and then vanishing. And so you're taking a little bit of a closer look here at this thing, and it becomes more and more clear. And this can be seen at the Helio Viewer website. And just to give you an idea of how massive this object is, you can see this little square up here to the left. That's what Earth looks like compared to the sun. That's Earth to scale. And so, as you're looking at this object, it looks to be about a quarter of the size of our own planet, which is.
And then he goes on at length a little bit about how they black out a lot of stuff, and
over top of whatever they're trying to hide.
yeah,
so let's
what
go
they're
ahead and
trying
go
to
to the
hide.
first
They
image. So
put
here we have
a
an
black
image of the sun.
pixelation over what they're trying to
Just seeing
hide.
the corner of the sun, which is to the right here, and you can see the plasma, this yellow fog-like plasma coming off of the sun, and then right there in the middle appears to be a black spherical object, possibly ciphering energy from the sun. We've seen many of these spherical UFOs before that look to be sucking energy off of the sun's surface. And here is yet another image.
If you think it's Phantom Agora, what is that?
Ciphering energy from the sun. You can see this plasma that is like circling almost into this elongated, swirling tornado-like shape that looks to be heading straight into.
Now that is
the
pixelation.
Black square, because NASA placed the square over top of whatever this is. Now, some people have said that these are actually giant square UFOs, but I've seen enough in my past.
There are square or cube
pretty much
UFOs,
these are just cover-up squares.
but you can see the edges. It's just like, yeah, paint
But that's
shop.
not to say that
Cheap
NASA hasn't
paint shop
accidentally let some slip through before being able to edit them out. So let's go on to the next one. All right, so here is one I really love, taken back in 2012. Now, in
He's
this
talking about
satellite,
this
they
area
have
right here.
a
This is the
small
UFO
black disc
right
that is
here.
right in the middle of the satellite.
It
and
gets
it
closer
covers
to
up
it.
the sun. So inside of that white circle, that's where the sun is. And then you can see its rays shining out. And then if you look just down to the left, with the sunlight reflecting off of it perfectly from the direction of where the sun is coming from, we have this very, very strange and long sort of, sci-fi movie type ship that looks to be just sort of hanging out, not too close, but not too far.
Some edges right
And
here.
look at this. This thing has
Comes down
size
here.
to it. It has depth.
Like
it has light
Parts
and
poke
shadow.
out here, wing here,
It
wing
changes
there.
direction. It has shape, sort of like an L shape
Kind
to
of,
it. It curves
almost
at the
L,
end.
yeah.
It
more of
has
an L.
little arms sticking out of it, reflecting light, and the back of it is in shadow, just like it should be if it was right next to the sun. And so this is one of my favorite images of a UFO captured near the sun. Has to be massive. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. And here we have another sphere, probably
Spherical
the most infamous of
UFO.
all of them.
A lot of
Well,
UFOs
actually,
seem to
there's
cipher
one there. I'm not
energy
gonna
from the
find
sun.
it right now. I'm just now moving files to this new.
A lot of UFOs seem to siphon energy from the sun.
So let's go ahead and go to the next one. And here we have another
Just
sphere,
like that.
probably the most
And other
infamous of
things
all of them, where
have
there's
been
actually a
seen
video
by
out
Soho.
there. I'm not going to find it right now.
Siphoning
Just now
from the
moving
sun.
files to this new PC. I don't have the video file yet, but here's a still image of another one of these spheres. Where if you just go to YouTube and search large spherical UFO sucking energy from the sun, you'll see a ton of videos of this object coming up to the sun. You'll see another one of these tornadoes of plasma being sucked up from the sun into the sphere before the sphere finally detaches and flies away. It's an amazing clip, and it's a perfect way for an alien ship to refuel itself as it moves from solar system to solar system. And here we have another clip. The sun is off to the upper right corner, covered by a black
UFO
disc
here.
on the satellite. And some of these will be green, some of them are red, but whatever is colored is space. And here we have another very similar shaped UFO to that long one that I just showed you, where it kind of curved at the end like a number 7. Something very similar lingering near the sun. Let's go ahead and move forward. This is a very interesting one where we have the sun up in the left-hand corner, barely peeking out, and then probably what amounts to thousands of miles away from it, we have what I like to call the dropping UFO, because it almost looks like a flare dropping from the sky. We have 3 distinct dots, and then this long red spike coming up from the top of it, almost as if it's streaking down from the sky, or that's just what it looks like or the way it was built, but very, very strange shape. Definitely not a star, not another planet. And these things just go on and on. They're
Red,
always
blue, and
looking
yellow.
around the sun. Here is a disc-shaped object that looks to be blasting away from the sun at the time that the Soho satellite snapped this image. Go ahead and zoom in on that. What do you guys think? And even it looks like it has some trail blur, coming off of it. Just like you would, the same type of blur you would have if you snapped a bird or a jet flying by. It leaves sort of a blurry trail in the background. Here is yet again another favorite. You know what? They're all my favorites. Of a rather small, tiny UFO, which leads me to believe that it's much closer to the sun, where it looks like we have just a straight beam of plasma leading straight from the sun to the object.
Clear as
Or
day.
possibly it's a laser beam of some sort being shot down to the sun. Who knows? But another weird, wild
Phenomenon.
image. And yet again, here we have Mr. Black Square blocking out something that looks to be causing a ruckus on the sun, because the only part of the sun's horizon
That's evidence
that
we're being
seems to be
lied to
showing
again.
any massive plasma activity
In multiple
is
different
right
ways.
here at the edge where this black square is.
From multiple
So,
sources.
I'm telling you guys, it's energy, it's plasma. They want that plasma. Need it. Here is another image of a sort of a cross-shaped object caught near the sun. Not sure when this was taken, but it looks to be very close. Very, very close. Must have some amazing heat shielding, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Here we have a very strange green object that looks like it has arms and two legs coming off of it. Again, it may not be green because these satellites, they take images of the sun in many different wavelengths and different colors. But nonetheless, it looks like a ship with two legs coming off of it, or four smaller objects coming down from the bottom. Parallel
They're gonna
with
throw
one
in
another.
another ad. Oh yeah. It'll be 5 seconds of interruption. It's probably near the end of it. I just wanted to give you some highlights. Let you know about the earthquake, the fireball, plural, France, and now over California,
Four
there,
smaller
Oregon
objects
area.
coming down from the bottom, parallel with one another.
Yeah, it's nearly
Really
over.
cool. And lastly, here we have yet another sphere, one that I broke on the channel like 4 or 5 years ago. And you can't seem to find many images anymore of this on Google. It's like they've scrubbed it. But it was a massive 3-dimensional sphere that was caught hanging around the sun down toward the lower left, underneath the sun. And it was obviously 3-dimensional. You're seeing one of the only images of that I could find. And, it doesn't seem to be interacting with the sun, but just sitting there. And so, yeah, guys, those are just a couple of the many, many more UFOs that we've seen, countless times lingering around our sun. So maybe one day I'll do a video featuring every single sun UFO I have ever seen.
And with that, I will say, good night, good morning, good evening, whatever the case may be, wherever you are when you see this. Love and peace. Have fun. Matt out.